Mesdames et messieurs, bienvenue à bord ce vol Air France 007, destination Paris Aéroport, Roissy Charles de Gaulle. Je m'appelle Milan Quentin, c'est mon plaisir d'être votre commandant de bord. Le temps de vol ce soir, c'est environ 6h25 minutes pour arriver sur Paris. Au décollage, dans environ 35 minutes, le temps va changer un peu, des nuages et peut-être un peu de pluie. C'est possible qu'on va avoir des turbulences en traversant l'Atlantique et puis pendant la descente vers Paris. Juste avant de commencer la descente, je vais vous reparler pour peut-être quelques nouvelles de la météo à Paris. Au nom de notre partenaire Alliance SkyTeam et les autres membres de l'équipage, je vous souhaite une excellente voyage et merci de voler avec Air France.
My name is Milan. I am 15 years old, and I have been an aviation enthusiast since I was about 4 years old, when I watched a YouTube video of planes taking off and landing at Newark Airport. When I first saw that video, I wondered how it was even possible for a plane to fly. At about 6 years old, I started doing research. I found out that there was such a thing called flight simulators. I was amazed by that idea. I loved how anyone can learn the basics of flying by practicing on a flight simulator. When I was 7 years old, I got my first flight simulator, and that was the moment I decided that this was 100% what I wanted to do. Flight Simulator is a computer program where you can realistically recreate a flight with real-life planes and airlines. You can also have another external program to have interactive air traffic control on a big network. This is what I've been doing for the last 8 years. Soon after I got interested in aviation, I found out that pilots train in flight simulators. But these are flight simulators that have a full-scale working cockpit, as they train for the model that they will fly. It also has movement, just as if you were flying in a real plane. In April 2023, while on my return flight from a tiring trip in Utah, I got the incredible chance to have a little conversation with the first officer of my flight. It got me motivated, and I was excited to get home the next morning to fly a flight on the simulator.
How and why did you become a pilot?
Well, like you, I wanted to be a pilot since I was 3 years old. And so you said how and why. I just always it always appealing to me. And I don't know why, but I just didn't stop until the only time you're going to fail is when you stop trying. So I just kept trying and got to achieve my goal.
One of the biggest problems facing the aviation industry is the pilot shortage. Between 2015 and 2023, the shortage has grown to a gap between supply and demand of nearly 17,000 pilots. By the time I finish high school in 2026, this number is estimated to increase to 24,000. And when I finish college in 2030, it will be upwards of 30,000. The main reason for this being retirement. Although the International Civil Aviation Authority has set the mandated pilot retirement age to 65, there are likely other reasons that there has been such a big onset of early retirements, notably the coronavirus pandemic. It is not clear if it will be possible to recover from the pilot shortage. However, it will be hard at this rate.
What was your first impression when you first started flight training?
My first impression was just excitement. I was really excited to finally get to do it. So yeah. But then a lot of times during training, you kind of feel like maybe you're not cut out for it because you feel like you're feeding from a fire hose. You're getting so much information and it's not making sense, and you feel a little bit overwhelmed. And then you get up and you get to speed with that. And then the next stage, it's another fire hose, right? So there's a lot of those stages where you feel like maybe I'm not cut out for this, and then you always figure it out.
I think of the fact that becoming a pilot would be a really big dream come true. As I searched flight schools around the city, I realized that there are not too many flight schools that are close to home. The closest one is still about 2 hours of commuting away. This made me think, do I really want to commute 4 hours a day? Would I want to move closer to the flight school? Then I think, do I want to leave my home to my parents? I don't know, because they have supported me my whole life, and moving away would be really hard for me to adapt to, especially at the age of 15. I'm thinking that, is it really worth it to leave my family to go to flight school? I'm not sure if I would want to leave them to fly. I love flying, but I also love my family.